Hi everybody, it's Rob. I wanted to do a video with panel questions that I received. I do a panel at the local college every term, and before the panel starts, actually usually the night before, I get an email with the questions that the students will be asking, just to kind of prep and know kind of what their questions are geared toward. So I thought it would be great to make a video with the answers to those panel questions, because most terms I'm getting a lot of the same questions, and so I figured it's kind of a general basis for questions from people who don't know but want to know things about transgender people. So I have gathered those questions and I have separated them for questions that are geared more toward me personally, and then questions that are just kind of general questions. So this first video I'm doing is going to be the personal questions, and I'll just go through the questions and answer them as I go. So here we go. That one is tricky. For me personally, I have not yet had a hysterectomy, and so if I stop taking testosterone right now, my period will resume as normal. So currently, until I have a hysterectomy, I take testosterone to keep the period away. Also, I'm still experiencing some body changes with testosterone, and I have heard some trans guys that once they have a hysterectomy, they notice changes also while still taking testosterone, that they are having a more rapid weight loss and muscle gain, and kind of all of those changes that happen when you start taking testosterone, but like they see them faster. Like your body just gets used to not having all of that estrogen kind of stored away in those areas. So I'm not sure. It's different for everybody if they want to maintain certain aspects and certain feelings that their body experiences with testosterone. I personally take injections, and once you've established facial hair and stuff like that, you know, it will continue to grow even if you stop taking testosterone. However, your skin may lighten and the hair may thin a little bit. Everybody genetically experiences things differently. So it's all a matter of keeping it at healthy levels, and that's another reason why I like going to the endocrinologist every now and then, just to kind of check in and see if things are, you know, where they're supposed to be for a man my age. So that's what I like to kind of go by, whether I'm going to continue or not, even after I have a hysterectomy. The most difficult part for me was probably just the initial, gathering of information to speak with professionals to get it started. You're wanting changes to happen, and they don't happen as fast as you want them to, and that can be pretty frustrating. And so within the first year for me, it's really hard for me, it was like when you're in that middle zone where, you know, you're still being mammed half of the time and sirred half of the time, or, you know, you still kind of look like a butch lesbian to everybody else. So, you know, you're getting misgendered, and your facial hair is not growing yet, and your voice hasn't deepened as much as you would like it to. That for me was a pretty hard time to deal with psychologically, and I knew that I was on the right track to where I wanted to be. It's just that, being out in public and around other people and not being able to control how they perceive you, that was really hard for me. And the most wonderful part about transitioning is just the whole thing, the whole experience. I continue to learn more about myself and experience more changes, and it's just a slow process in becoming this man that I never thought it would be possible for me to be. And so every day, every new day is a blessing, and it's all wonderful. So that's what I have to say about that. Similar to how I'm raising my son now, I don't want him to think that there is any specific way that he has to be, or a certain gender role that he has to play out. I want him to just be himself and act how he wants to be and like the things that he genuinely likes. So I thought this was an amazing question for somebody in the panel to ask, because there's not a whole lot of people asking how they can help, as not being a member of that group. One of the things that I do is obviously these YouTube videos. I post it on my Facebook page as well, and so to me it's kind of a way to educate friends and family, and even just acquaintances that I'm friends with on my personal Facebook page. It's a less awkward situation for them to learn without having to ask me directly the personal questions. I am an open book, and I don't mind people asking me the difficult questions, but for some people to ask those questions, it's really uncomfortable for them. So this is a way that they can watch in the comfort of their own home and learn, things that maybe they're questioning about transgender people, or maybe that they don't fully understand, but they want to because, being friends with me, they would like to kind of know what I'm going through or things that I experience, because it's so different than what they're used to or what they know. So I do that. Also, like I've mentioned, clearly because these questions have come from the panel, I speak at the local college on panels to answer questions and educate individuals with transgender issues. So those are the things I do to help with awareness. And what a cisgendered person can do to kind of advocate for the trans community or just be an ally. Really just be understanding and accepting, and like with any minority really, if you're around a group of friends or around coworkers at work, if you're hearing slanderous talk of trans individuals or dirty jokes or anything regarding trans people, just it helps to advocate if you stand up for that minority and say, like, whoa guys, I don't think that you fully understand what trans even means. Like I know this one guy and he's totally cool. He's trans and he's nothing like what you're speaking about right now. That maybe you need to educate yourselves more. And obviously, I don't want you to pick a fight with anybody at work. Obviously, if it is at work, that's an HR issue, because things like that should not be discussed anyway around the workplace. But just kind of speaking up, or even taking what you know and kind of spreading the good word. You can direct people to YouTube. There's thousands and thousands of YouTube videos with different trans individuals that are sharing their experience, and also if you just realize that not every trans person is the same. Like people in general, we all have our own individual experience, and one trans guy, it can be totally different from this other trans guy's experience, and just kind of keeping an open mind about that. It's we're just people. We have different struggles than you, but we have a lot of similarities. We're just humans trying to better our lives and make ourselves happier with who we are, and finally becoming the person that we identify as and the gender that we identify as. So it's really not much different than regular cisgendered people. I guess if it has taught me anything, it's really how to understand people more for who they are. I have learned a lot psychologically, physically, emotionally. Just things are so different being trans and getting to see both sides of the spectrum. Living 29 years of my life as a female-bodied person, I was treated a certain way by the general public, and had certain privileges or lack of privileges because I was female, and now getting to transition and live my life as a male and getting the male privileges and being treated a different way by society. It's kind of sad to realize that it really does happen. The segregation of sexes and the special treatment, and it's just it's sad that stuff is still going on, and that genders are still being separated in such a drastic way that women are still being treated different than men. And it just blows my mind. And it really goes deeper than I can possibly articulate in words, but it has taught me that people in general still have to label things, and they have this perceived way of separating people into groups and treating people a certain way based on those groups that they're in. And it's just a way of thinking, and I know that it's a way that a lot of people were raised. But I think it's time. It's 2016, and I think it's time people start broadening their minds and just thinking of people as people and not specifically a gender per se. So that's all of the questions for this video, and thank you for watching.